Oh, welcome to this session. And the topic of the session is how STEM learning shapes young minds. So, I am Arpit Tripathi, and I'm going to talk about how STEM learning shapes young minds. As a psychologist, what is my view about this? And I am going to somewhere have this presentation, which is going to explore the profound impact of STEM education on children's cognitive and emotional development from a psychologist's perspective. So, when we talk about basically the STEM learning, so the thing is that how STEM learning shapes young minds. So basically, when we are talking about it, somewhere we are going to focus on the following stuff. Like STEM learning is something which shapes the young minds. So it builds problem solving skills, it fosters curiosity and innovation, encourages collaboration and communication, prepares the future careers, connects learning to real life, and many more things. So we are going to discuss about all these aspects, and we are going to talk about all these aspects here only. So, if I talk about STEM learning, what do you mean by the word STEM? So, as you can see on the screen, that STEM simply means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So, when we talk about science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, education is not just about formulas, codes, or machines. It is a powerful cognitive and emotional tool that somewhere shapes the way children think. Number one, the way children think, the way children feel, and the way children grow. So, when we are talking about STEM education, we need to understand that it has a very, very direct connection with how things are done, and it has a very clear, powerful cognitive impact and emotional thing on children, on like how they think, how they feel, and how they grow as a child. So, from a psychologist lens, I would say STEM learning has deep, long lasting effects on a child's mental agility and like resilience, creativity, and emotional intelligence. Sorry, there's a typing stakes mental ability. So, the thing is, while talking about STEM learning in children, we are supposed to take care of this, that in today's world, STEM means science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, right? And what are we going to focus? So we are going to focus on it, as it is somewhere cognitive and emotional tool that is somewhere going to help us to understand how children think, feel, and grow in the technical aspects, right? Moving to the next. So how does STEM uh, promotes or STEM pushes children to ask why, how, and what if? So, how it affects the cognitive development in children? So, when we talk about STEM, it pushes very simply somewhere children, like there's a like STEM pushes children to ask why and how or what if, and its impact on cognitive development. Number one is somewhere it promotes questioning and exploration. So, STEM activities are naturally inquiry based. When children experiment, build, um, or explore, they are driven to ask. Like, for example, why does this happen? So, seeking cause and effect. Number two, how does it work? So, understanding systems. Number three, what if I change this? So, predicting outcomes. So, this scientific curiosity somewhere, it strengthens the ability to think critically and reason logically. Also, what it does, so it somewhere boosts higher order thinking. Like analyzing data. So children somewhere, when they are into, like if I talk about cognitive development, so through STEM, children move beyond rote learning to skills like analyzing data, recognizing patterns, drawing conclusions, or applying knowledge to new situations. So this builds their problem solving, analytical, and abstract thinking skills. Uh, Analytical thing, problem solving, you all know. I just want to add an example of abstract thinking. Abstract thinking simply means if I ask you what are the similarities between a helicopter and an aeroplane. So the easiest, like the easy way you can explain what are the similarities, the higher order abstract thinking you may be having that. Okay. Also, this STEM somewhere strengthens the cognitive flexibility. So when kids explore multiple solutions or design models, they learn to adapt their thinking, they try different strategies, and they handle unexpected results. So this flexibility is somewhere, the key to creative thinking and resilience. Also, it somewhere deepens memory and understanding. So when I talk about cognitive development, it is somewhere deepens the memory and understanding, like um, hands-on STEM tasks that engage multiple senses like seeing, touching, doing. So we, like these are the things which help store concepts in long-term memory. So it also links abstract ideas to real experiences, making learning stick. So, in short, if I talk about cognitive development, building problem solving minds, so I would just like to say that STEM turns learning into an active, curious, and exploratory process. I repeat, STEM turns learning into an active, curious, and exploratory process. And this sharpens cognitive functions like reasoning, memory, creativity, and flexible thinking. And these are all crucial things for a child's overall brain development, if I talk in particular, right? So, it's very simple, like a child programming a robot learn sequencing, prediction, and adaptability. So that is overall example of cognitive development. Now let us talk about the another thing. So next thing is how STEM promotes curiosity and a growth mindset in children. So very simple way. Very simple way. I would just like to say this, that STEM has a very direct connection in terms of promoting curiosity and a growth mindset in children. Number one, it is mentioned here, fosters a love for learning, builds intrinsic motivation, or your helps children embrace mistakes as part of their learning process. So, as a Carol Dweck, there was a psychologist here who researched that says growth mindset learners are more resilient and adaptable. So, qualities naturally embedded in STEM learning. So, I would like to give a little more detail here. Is like how STEMs promotes curiosity and a growth mindset in children. Number one, I believe fuels natural curiosity. There is something which is forced curiosity, discussed, influenced curiosity, but STEM promotes somewhere natural curiosity. So STEM invites children to explore how things work and why they happen. So hands-on experience like coding and building spark questions like, what if I will try this? So these turning learning into an adventure, and that was also helpful into that. Also, it somewhere embraces mistakes as learning steps. Like for example, in STEM, failure is not final. So it's part of discovery. So when a project doesn't work out, children learn to adjust and try again, seeing mistakes as opportunities to grow. And that is something which is very sensitive in it. Another thing I feel like it somewhere builds persistence and resilience. So challenging problems are somewhere iterative design processes, which encourages kids to keep going and reinforcing that efforts and practice lead to improvement. Also, um, when we talk about promoting curiosity and a growth mindset in STEM, so somewhere it teaches that intelligence can grow. And every time they solve a new problem or grasp a tough concept, children see that skills develop with time and hard work, a core of the growth mindset. Also, I want to just add on a couple of things more, like makes asking questions exciting. So the children, they are very hesitant about asking questions. We as in youngsters, even I see many adults being pretty, conscious about asking questions. So STEM classrooms thrive on why, how, and what if. So kids learn that being curious and exploring different solutions is not only safe but celebrated. So, in short, I would just like to say that STEM nurtures inquisitive minds and the belief that abilities can be developed, and it helps children become lifelong learners who are not afraid to explore questions and grow, and they become better leader, they become better person, and many more. Moving next. So how does STEM, yeah, how does STEM strengthen social emotional skills? So, in children, while we are talking about STEM, somewhere teamwork, communication, empathy, emotional regulation all happens, right? Now, when we talk about strengthening social emotional skills, so somewhere we need to understand how it will impact that. Very simple, in a very, very short term, I just would like to say somewhere it encourages teamwork and collaboration. So, many STEM projects involve working in pairs or groups to solve problems, build models, or run experiments. So, this teaches children how to communicate ideas, listen to others, compromise, and share responsibilities. So this is something which is very helpful stuff. Also, it builds empathy and a respect for diverse ideas. So, if I talk about social emotional learning, STEM has activities that often need different perspectives to succeed. So, children learn to value others' ideas, appreciate diverse approaches, and support teammates, which is a big question mark in organizations. So, growing empathy and respect, that is something which is there strengthened by this STEM. Also, it teaches handling frustration and setbacks. So, when experiments fail or coding doesn't work, so into that situation, children practice managing disappointments and trying again. So, this strengthens emotional regulation and resilience. Also, what helps here is it boosts confidence and self efficacy. So, self efficacy, like after successfully solving problems, presenting findings, or fixing errors, it gives a strong, very, very strong sense of achievement, and it builds somewhere belief in themselves about their own abilities, like I can figure this out. So this is something which is somewhere helpful. Also, it promotes responsible decision making. So if there is better emotional regulation, of course children will develop better and responsible decision making. So STEM tasks often involve considering consequences, making choices, and thinking ethically. I'm talking about ethical thinking. So, STEM task, what I said, often involves considering consequences, making choices, and thinking ethically. For example, um, sustainability, fairness. Uh, all these like helping develop thoughtful decision making. So that is to be, somewhere effective in social emotional learning. In a nutshell, if I have to say, so STEM is not just about facts and formulas. It creates opportunities for children to grow socially and emotionally. Also, um, it nurtures confidence and wise choices, building well-rounded individuals. So that is something what comes there when we talk about strengthening social emotional skills. So also there one thing is left is like emotional regulation is improved when children learn to cope with failed experiments and persevere through challenges. Okay, moving next. So when we talk about how does it fuels creativity and inner how does STEM fuels creativity and innovation? So, very simple term, I would just like to add that STEM does not limit imagination, it channels it. So, how it channels it? It's like children explore how and why things work and uh, think about how to make them better. STEM often intersects with arts, STEAM, encouraging visual design, storytelling, and human centered innovation. So, basically, when we talk about how it fuels creativity and innovation, so it encourages thinking beyond the obvious stuff. Like STEM challenges kids to ask what else is possible, or how can I do this differently? So this pushes them to explore multiple solutions instead of just one right answer. Also, it somewhere turns imagination into real world creations. So whether it is designing a simple machine, coding a game, or building a model bridge, STEM lets children bring their ideas to life, blending creativity with practical skills, and that's something which lacks behind. So that is taken care of. Next, if I talk about, so next would be um, nurtures original problem solving. So STEM problems often, doesn't have a clear path. So children learn to experiment, adapt, and invent into new approaches, somewhere fostering innovative thinking. If I talk about next would be it somewhere combines, arts with science. So arts with science, that is STEAM. So when STEM integrates art and design, which becomes STEAM. So if further speaks creativity, right? Visual, through visual thinking, storytelling in projects, or aesthetic design in engineering takes place. Also, STEM somewhere builds a mindset of experimentation. So trying, testing, or experimentation. So trying, testing, failing, and trying again, testing, failing, and again trying, testing, and failing again. It somewhere teaches kids that innovation comes from exploring new possibilities and not fearing mistakes, right? Experiments, like those experiments or innovation that comes from exploring new possibilities and not fearing mistakes. So STEM does not limit creativity, it amplifies. I repeat, STEM does not limit creativity, it amplifies by merging curiosity with hands on exploration. So STEM turns, kids into inventors, designers, and imaginative thinkers who are ready to shape future. I believe I made this point clear. And till here, I believe there is no mistake. If I can see just a couple of emojis. Did you like the session? How is the flow going? आपको समझ में आ रहा है कि नहीं? कहीं कोई confusion है कुछ भी? You can just show up a couple of thumbs up and emojis so that it also can motivate me to stay on track. Right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Lots of you have shown thumbs up. It means the things are going in the right manner. Thank you. Thank you so much. Moving to the next. Yeah. So when we talk about, just a second, let me shift it here. Yeah. So let us talk about how STEM supports executive functioning. And what is executive functioning? Let me tell you in the beginning. So executive functioning executive functioning is something which is uh, which simply means you have been given a task, how you will execute that task. So the functioning of thinking and acting and behaving and executing that particular task, that goes into executive functioning, right? So planning and organizing, like coding a game, setting up an experiment, time management and goal setting, task initiation, self monitoring. So these skills are crucial for academic success and lifelong self regulation. Now, let me talk about it in detail, that how STEM supports executive functioning. So, somewhere it enhances planning and organization. So, anywhere where we are working or we want to work or somebody else whom we admire works, something which is very important is planning and organizing things. So, STEM projects, those are often require kids to plan steps, gather materials, and follow procedures. So, this somewhere strengthens their ability to organize tasks and manage time. Also, it somewhere builds the working memory, like solving math problems. So running experiments or coding requires holding information in mind for and applying it. So these are somewhere training working memory, a key part of your executive function, right? Next is, what is there is um, flexible thinking. So if I talk about flexible thinking, so this execute like the STEM somewhere strengthens the flexible thinking, like for example when something doesn't work as expected. So children, they can learn to shift strategies and try new approaches. This cognitive flexibility is vital for adapting to challenges. Also, what I feel is like what promotes like STEM somewhere promotes uh, uh, impulse control and focus. So STEM activities, it demands careful observation, following instructions, and resisting the urge to rush. So which somewhere hones attention, control, and patience. Last, I would like to just add in this list, which regarding this support, this thing is like it develops goal-directed persistence. So, completing a science fair project or a long-term coding task, it teaches children to stick with a plan, monitor progress, and stay motivated. I repeat, it teaches children with a plan, monitor progress, and stay motivated. So these are essential for goal setting and follow through. So in short, I would just like to say STEM does not just build academic skills. I repeat, STEM doesn't build your academic skills. It exercises the brain's management systems, improving planning, focus, memory, flexibility, and self control. I said memory, flexibility, focus, planning, self control. So these are all core aspects of executive functioning, and it helps somebody to grow as an individual while STEM is being used. Yeah, moving next. Let me just have a small water break. Yeah. So moving next, that is, how does STEM nurtures identity and purpose? How does STEM nurtures identity and purpose? So early exposure to STEM, somewhere when early exposure to STEM is given in a childhood age, so what would be the results? So it will help children to see themselves as problem solvers, or it will build efficacy, the belief that I can do this, especially important for girls and underrepresented groups to break stereotypes and envision themselves in STEM roles. So I am not just learning about circuits, I am building solutions, right? So coming to this, just a second. So yeah, so STEM somewhere nurtures identity and purpose. Like it helps children can see themselves as capable of problem solving. So through STEM, kids experience the um, thrill of figuring out of figuring things out and fixing a circuit, coding a simple game, or solving a tricky math puzzle. And this builds the belief I can think critically, solve problems, and create things. So, such experiences shape a positive self identity as a thinker, maker, and an innovator. As a thinker, maker, and an innovator. Also, it connects learning to meaningful real world issues. So, like STEM often tackles real life challenges, clean energy, protecting water, or building safer structures. So this helps children see how their skills can contribute to the world, somewhere promoting a sense of purpose and responsibility. So when we talk about identity and purpose also, it exposes them to diverse STEM role models. So when children learn stories of scientists, engineers, inventors, or local entrepreneurs, especially from varied backgrounds, they think someone like me can also do this. This expands their vision of who they can become. And someone like me can also do this. This thought motivates them. It works as an intrinsic motivation thing for them. Also, it somewhere encourages ownership and agency. So, designing experiments or building projects allows kids to make choices and see their ideas come to life. And this autonomy somewhere strengthens their sense of agency and confidence in shaping their future. So, when we talk about uh, identity and purpose, we cannot forget that how it can cultivate aspirations for meaningful careers. Because early STEM experiences often plant seeds for long term interest. So children start imagining themselves as architects, doctors, technology developers, or environmental scientists, and they can, like building a bridge between identity and future purpose. So, if we talk in short, STEM is not just about learning facts, it is about helping children discover who they are, what excites them, and how they can use their talents to make a difference. So, nurturing both identity and a purposeful life path. I believe it's a clear tell here. Any doubts, any questions? So, you can put it in the chat box. Just a second. I believe just let me just reshare the screen. Sorry, moving next, let me reshare the screen. Uh, where it is. Just a second. Okay. Just confirm if this screen is visible to you all. Okay. Right. Right. Correct. So moving next. Okay, moving next is we have spoken about problem solvers and all that stuff. Yeah. Let us talk about a psychologist's takeaway. So, STEM is not just academic content, it's a life skills laboratory. So, it develops a child's mind to be analytical yet empathetic, creative yet structured, confident yet open to feedback. So, it is somewhere a very practical thing we need to understand that many a times people say that science students are not empathetic, humanities students are very empathetic, but STEM has a very different approach to it. What STEM says, it somewhere promotes analytical yet empathetic thing, creative yet structured, and confident yet open to feedback. This is something which is the integration of STEM with psychological support. It creates a learning environment where both intellect and identity are nurtured. And that is something which is very important when we talk about STEM in learning inside the classrooms. So, final word of mine would be, as a psychologist, what I would like to say is, as psychologists, educators, and parents, we must advocate for STEM not as a subject, but as a mindset, one that empowers children to imagine boldly, think deeply, and contribute meaningfully. So, it's very important to somewhere understand that when we talk about STEM learning, let us not take it as a subject specifically, but as a mindset, because it will somewhere empower our children to imagine boldly. Lots and lots of self criticism, self critical stuff, it loses our this thing. So it will help us to think deeply, and of course it will contribute meaningfully. So that's all from my end. I come to the question and answer round. If you have any doubts, any questions, please feel free to put the questions in the chat box. I would love to take your questions. Let me just open the chat box because I believe you need practical answers to the questions. So let me just be here. Yeah. So आपके जो भी प्रश्न हैं, जो भी क्वेश्चंस हैं, कृपया चैट बॉक्स में डालते जाइए. मैं बारी बारी पढ़ के उनको आंसर्स करता जाऊंगा. और yeah. Any questions? Okay, so there's a question: how to teach a slow learner? Okay, so let us try to understand who is a slow learner. So any child who is slow at their pace of learning, right? Who is slow at their pace of learning. So how we can teach them? So I would just like to say one very simple thing. What you can use is, number one, use simple and clear instructions. You may be a PhD holder, you may be a great teacher, but I'm sorry, if you are teaching inside a class and the concepts are not clear to a child, so the more you will speak, the more you will say, of course, the child is not going to understand, and you are going to get frustrated that why is not learning. So break task into small and manageable steps. Give one instruction at a time and check if they have understood before moving on. That is something which is very helpful. Also, I have been there in one of a very good school in the country. So what the concept they have, their teacher has a very simple thing. What they do, the teacher says, I will only teach the next subject or the next chapter till all the students will agree that, sir, chapter 1 is clear to us. So what he does, he says, all the students who are responsible, all the good students inside the class who are there, they take responsibility to teach the students to whom the concepts are not clear. So it becomes easier for them to connect with the peer and they can ask questions easily. And it also somewhere reduces the pressure on the head of the teacher and it helps to move on. Right. So that is something. Also, for slow learners, I would recommend repeat and revise often. So slow learners, they get benefited, from extra practice and frequent review to build confidence and retention. So encourage them to explain concepts back to you in their own words. Okay. One very important thing what I feel for slow learners that is to be taken care of is be patient and positive. You know, you need to avoid comparing them to others. Just praise effort and small improvements. Even if they do small improvements, just praise. Always use real life examples for them so they connect lessons to things they see around them. So like using money for math or plants for science, something like that. So it helps them. Encourage active participation, provide extra time and support, and build a strong relationship. Always remember, for slow learners, go slow, repeat often, use different methods, and cheer every step forward. If you are doing so, it is going to help you, and that particularly the slow learner, right? Next question is how we can implement STEM in our school. Interesting question. The question is interesting, and what I would like to answer you, that is also going to be interesting. So if I talk about how we can implement STEM in school, I would just like to say one very simple thing. Start with a vision and team. Form a small STEM committee. Teachers from science, maths, computers, maybe art to plan. Number one. Number two, set clear goals. Example, we want students to become problem solvers and innovators. So, the clear your goal will be, the easier your journey will be. Number two, integrate STEM into existing subjects. Don't think about this, just existing subjects. So you don't always need a separate STEM period. Science, may you can add experiments that solve real life problems. Okay. Math, you can include data collection or small projects. Computer, you can use basic coding. Art, you can use design models. That is team, what I spoke in the session. Also, for implementing this in a school, encourage hands-on project-based learning. So let students build, design, uh, test, and improve. Also, you can think about, like making simple bridges from ice cream sticks to learn about load. So this would give, the children more confidence than you explaining the concept of bridge and the load and everything. Also, I would like to say that use local and low cost resources. Children come from multiple backgrounds, so you don't always need fancy labs. Use everyday materials to, uh, build models or try simple robotics kits. So visit local sites like water plants, factories to see STEM in action. Also, you can offer STEM clubs, STEM fairs in school. So start a STEM club maybe where students work on fun challenges like egg drop, simple circuits, or coding. I have seen a very beautiful concept of adult tinkering labs. If you can read that CBSE circular, I believe that will help you. Adult tinkering lab is a great option where children can, learn and can grow accordingly. Uh, Also, I would just like to say one thing. Um, Two things I would like to say at last. Train and motivate teachers. Our colleagues are supposed to be motivated. Like arrange small workshops or peer sharing sessions on using inquiry based or project based learning. Every small new practices like um, letting students predict outcomes before experiments, build STEM mindset. So all these stuffs are important. And just remember, make STEM practical, hands-on, and curiosity-driven. So use existing classes, everyday materials, supporting teachers, and give students opportunities somewhere they can explore and present their ideas. So I believe that way you can implement STEM in your school. Okay. Okay. So there's a question. I ask, STEM is must for all students, but some students ask, what is the use of algebra formula in our daily life? Okay, so just remember this very simple word of mine. What I would like to add here is the students are challenging, right? And it's a very valid questions a student asks. I believe how you can answer is to this thing. It's like you need to say them that that adding this algebra formulas or something, it builds thinking skills, not just facts. So when the students learn algebra, they are not just memorizing formulas. They are training their brain to think logically, uh, find patterns, and solve a problem systematically. Right? Every organization, anything needs a system. So when any child is using learning formulas, it helps them to think logically, it helps them to find patterns, and also solve problems systematically. So, skills they will use all their life. You know, thinking logically for the entire life is very important. If you have, if you can easily find patterns, your life is very set. And if you can solve problems systematically, so it is also, which is a very essential skill for life. So it will help them in finances, planning a business, or fixing everyday issues. This is what I feel. Uh, we need to read algebra for. Uh, Many life solutions involve hidden algebra, like comparing mobile data plans or loan options uses the same logic as solving equations, right? Or if I think about uh, um, figuring out travel plan, right? Or travel time versus speed. So, how to split a bill fairly? Use algebraic thinking. It is also there. Even I believe budgeting monthly expenses is applying mathematical reasoning. So algebra is important there as well. So I believe we don't just learn algebra or science to use what formula every day, or to use that formula every day. We learn it to build a brain that can handle life's questions, spot patterns, make good decisions, and solve problems. I believe if you go with this approach, this can help you to deal with this question, that how algebra, could be used for everyday this thing. Thank you. Uh, okay. STEM has also art included in it. STEAM. Can you please have some sight on this? Of course. Why won't I? So, I just would like to just a second. See, questions are questions, and that is to be taken with equal respect. So, I am asking you to promote this thing, asking questions. Why won't I? So, see, STEAM is science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. So it is an evolved approach that adds art and art and design thinking to traditional STEM, so making learning even more holistic. So why include art? Art has a very direct connection with creativity drives innovation, visualization and communication, and it boosts emotional and cultural connection. So, if I talk about STEAM in action, so designing eco-friendly houses, engineering plus art, right? Making posters to explain climate change, science plus visual art. Uh, Coding interactive stories, technology plus storytelling, right? Exploring sound waves through music, so physics plus music. So STEAM somewhere nurtures the whole brain, and it blends logic plus creativity. So encouraging students to think differently, explore multiple solutions, and appreciate beauty along with functionality. So in short, if I say, so it would be STEAM helps students become not just problem solvers, but also creators, designers, and empathetic thinkers who are ready to shape a thoughtful and innovative world, right? Okay. How you can implement STEM in school, I have already spoken about. Any other question? I'm just waiting for. If you have any other question, yes. Let me just see. Let me just see. Okay. I cannot see any other question. In case if you have any other doubt, any other question, thank you for all the very well wishes, and thank you so much. Anyone. Thank you so much. All the beautiful comments you have written for me. Thank you. I'm very very grateful. I'm just looking for another question. Mm, yeah, just let the questions be there on screen. I'm just looking for the questions. There's a very beautiful question. Why do students take science and math seriously, not the other subjects? uh, I believe we the teachers are the people, we the society are the people who promotes this thing. It's a very nice question. You know, at our time, uh, what we used to feel like. So I believe number one is societal and parental pressure. So in many places, especially in India and Asia, science and math are seen as the gold standard, for smart students. And parents and society, they often empathize um, and too much emphasize these subjects because they are linked to high status careers, doctor, engineer, scientist. This could be one thing, what I feel. Uh, Number two would be clearer pathways to job. Now, if you say, I want to read history, I want to go in pol science. So there is no clear pathway to jobs. Of course, there are careers, but the societal thing, what people know in general, so those are not very clearly visible. अभी तो everything is happening, लोगों को बहुत कुछ पता चल रहा है. But students, they see direct connection from science and math to well-known, financially stable. I of course financially stable careers, and they may not immediately see how history, literature, or art can also lead to meaning and successful professions. So that is there. Okay. um, Also, I have personally seen it is more marks driven culture, like exams often prioritize science and math with quickly. Show me a thumbs up if I'm audible. Hello, are you there? Great, great, great. Thank you. So I believe lack of exposure to the real to the value of other subjects. So students might not realize that social science, arts, language, and philosophy also develop critical thinking, communication, um, cultural understanding, and creativity, equally vital for life and many other careers. So I believe we as an educator have a very big responsibility. We need to show them how history, art, literature, psychology, economics, pol science all shape the world, from policy making to storytelling to marketing. Okay. And I also feel, always tell schools and teachers to encourage and invite professionals from varied fields, writers, artists, psychologists. You can invite me as a psychologist to your school, right? Lawyers, to share their journeys. Why? Because when students see, oh, this person belongs to this field and doing this much, earning this much, doing into this manner, acha, this is that. So they connect much more better. You can also invite lots and lots of parents there in your school, those who are already working in your school, or those who are working somewhere else, maybe a renowned CA, maybe a doctor, maybe an engineer, whosoever. So I believe like students take science and math more seriously, largely due to cultural beliefs, career focus, and peer pressure. So we as educators need to help them to develop a better, thinking about all this stuff, and that could be helpful thing. Okay. Okay. So last question, which is very interesting. I would like to take this. How can I teach these type of students who don't study at any time and remember no more questions? So I will answer your question in the bullets. Okay. Uh, think about it. What take the students or what take a child not to study or um, or not studying in your particular this thing? So I believe you need to do a following thing. Make learning active, not passive. Use games, discussions, role plays, models. Don't just lecture. Let them come up to the board or teach back a point. You can use volunteer teaching. Read about this concept, volunteer teaching, on internet. You can get much about it. YouTube pe there are multiple videos on volunteer teaching. This could help. Also, break content into small bits. So teach one concept at a time. I see teachers, they become super fast Duranto Express. If they are on, they're on and on and on. So this would help. Uh, Also, um, use repetition and revision creatively. Like some revise often through quizzes, puzzles, or quick oral questioning, and repeat in different ways. So visual charts, stories, like mnemonics, these all would help. This last question: is it good idea to opt for mathematics if a student is taking commerce in class 12th? I have seen a science student dropping science and taking English honors. So there is nothing with any subject. This is all stereotypical. If I feel I can do justice with science, I myself was a science student and I took psychology. When I took psychology, people were saying like, "What have you opted for?" But I believe I don't earn less than a teacher of math and all. So it's very simple. It's how you take your subjects, how you take your things plays a very vital, very big role in terms of learning and all those aspects. So thank you so much. Thank you so much for all your warm wishes. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being honest. And I literally loved talking your session. And I'm so happy, so proud, and so glad to have you as my audience. Thank you so much, everyone, for your time. And thank you so much, Patliputra Sahodaya School Complex, for inviting me as a person to give this lecture here. Thank you so much. I believe you all liked the session. Bye bye. Take care. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you and Jai Hind.